Great to have you with us from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn and Wally Zerbiak. The old saying goes that in the NBA, no lead is safe. But tonight, Alan, the lead was safe from the opening tip. Knicks were up by 26 points after the first quarter and were never challenged the rest of the way.
Yeah, this was a great start to the game. It was really exactly what you'd want to see the Knicks do against a team like the Pistons, still young, still trying to figure it out. In the second half in Miami, it seemed to unlock some things offensively with this team, especially between Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Those two guys, the Pistons had no answer for. They were unstoppable. And Jalen Brunson, while he really seemed to have found his offense, especially the three-point shot, he got that going early, and the Knicks were a team that the Pistons could not handle.
This is pretty cool, watching Karl Anthony Towns go off for 44 2 nights ago, and then Jalen Brunson, just a ho-hum 36 in 3 periods, basically. He didn't play much in that fourth quarter at all. This team is really good, and this is why the whole entire NBA has taken notice of what the Knicks are doing, because they have capable players that can dominate a game, can take over an offense, and we were just talking about it. I love the way the ball doesn't stick.
Yeah.
Everyone shares the ball. Mikal Bridges does all those little things, you know, stays in the corner when he gets his opportunity, makes quick decisions, quick plays. Nobody pounds it, nobody holds it, nobody takes bad shots. Everyone shares the ball and moves the ball, and you're seeing that you're starting to see how these pieces fit and how they're really coming together.
And defense, by the way. I mean, that's another part of the story here. We can talk about the fact that the Knicks put 39 points up in that first quarter. But what they did defensively at the beginning of this game, you heard Jalen Brunson talking about it with Kenny and Clyde. They forced 22 turnovers. They scored 30 points off those turnovers. 16 steals. Every starter had at least 2 steals in this game. So it was a collective effort, not just offensively, but on the defensive end as well.
And for the second straight game, guys, 30 assists. We looked it up. Last year they had, what, 10 games with at least 30 assists?
10 games with at least 30 assists.
And already went back-to-back with 30.
They were
That's
10
the
and 0,
ball
by the way,
movement,
yes.
people movement, not holding it. That's an example of that.
All right, let's take a look at the first half. Wally was 39-13 after the first quarter of play, and at the half, the lead was 23.
I mean, it was just doors blown off in that first quarter. The Knicks were really focused.
Should we play Sweet Georgia Brown underneath these highlights right here with some of the passes that we're seeing?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but
Harlem
anyway,
no?
Okay. Look at the ball movement and just focus from the beginning was outstanding by this Knickerbocker team. The defense was suffocating. This Detroit team, they don't have a lot of confidence to begin with. They're 1-4 on their home floor, and the Knicks are just starting to really hit their stride. And I said it, you know, the first couple games of the season takes a little bit of time just to get comfortable with each other. And now they're starting to get really comfortable with each other, Alan, and it's not good news for opponents.
No, and it's good news for the Knicks. And by the way, yes, halftime update from the Pistons. Yeah, stuff happened.
Knicks were up 69-46
The
at the half.
assessment from Detroit.
A beatdown happened there, Piston fans.
A lot of stuff happened. In the Knicks' favor. Let us now bring in Monica McNutt from Detroit. She helped call the game on the radio, ESPN New York. Easy breezy tonight, huh, Monica?
You know, pack them up. Let's keep it moving. Listen, that was a terrific performance by the Knicks. And we talked a lot about the second half defense in Miami traveling. As much as we will marvel at the 36 points by Jalen Brunson, all 5 starters in double figures, the high shooting percentage from the three-point line. Let me just double check that real quick. 47% from the three-point line. To me, it was their defense. And yes, I get it. The Detroit Pistons are an organization that's still working through some things. They're a very young team, but still, you're going into Houston versus a team that's feeling pretty good, having just knocked off Dallas, that also high-powered youth, right? And so I think, again, continuing to make deposits on developing your defensive identity with this new-look team is a good thing.
It's the attitude, right, Monica? The way that they attack them defensively. Like you said, I was pointing out before, all 5 starters had at least 2 steals. The fact that they got after it on that end, which a lot of times you see a team like this you go into play a team like Detroit, maybe you kind of let off a little bit. You don't give that effort you're supposed to get on the defensive end. You just try to outscore them. This looked like a real professional effort by this Knicks team on the defensive end, didn't it?
I agree with you, Hein, and I actually thought that third quarter was going to be sort of the challenge moment because you're up, however many it was, plus 20 at halftime.
30.
Do you still have that? Yeah, 30. Do you still have the focus to come out in the third quarter and execute? And this team did do that. So I think this was a really good showing, and we keep hearing Coach Tom Thibodeau and even the players when we have a chance to talk with them after shoot-arounds and such, talking about the time that it takes. OG Anunoby on our radio interview post-game said the same thing to us. He's like, look, like, we're all a new team. So we're all still adjusting. It's not just about the two new pieces in the starting lineup, but it's about the team being a different look team and having to go about it differently this year to achieve success.
Now, Monica, Jalen Brunson was absolutely on fire. This is what we expected to see out of him. It's about time. What did you see out of him tonight?
So you tell me, Wally. I remember Kay Cunningham going off at the Garden last year, and so I thought that this one might have had a little bit of a personal piece to it, and of course the best ways, the most competitive ways, but I also saw him take really good shots and take what the defense gave him. I didn't think that he forced it. I thought his teammates did a good job of finding him. To go along with those 36 points, he still had 5 assists, but I think overall the poise you saw, to me in the first quarter, the thing that jumped out was the cutting and passing within a tight window, usually in the paint. Like we saw Mikal Bridges come down, get a pass in the paint off of a cut. Karl Anthony Towns, the first 4 baskets by this team in totality were all in the paint, and I think that really set the tone. And so for JB, when you hot, let it fly. Shoot to get hot, and shoot to stay hot, baby.
All right, Monica, you going to the Michigan game tomorrow with the crew or what?
I am going to the Michigan game, bundled up. It's going to be a cute little college football vibe. You know, at Georgetown, we ain't do college football, so I'm going to, be engaged for a little bit, and then, whatever we do next, I'll be on to the next thing.
Go blue. Just remember,
all
go
of
blue.
that. Okay,
see you on Monday. See you on Monday night from Houston. Have a good trip to Houston. All right, so 2 things that really stood out to me. Brunson from three-point range at 6 out of 8. How about Karl Anthony Towns with 7 assists?
Yeah, and you thought if this was a closer game, he might have gotten into a triple-double with his performance. We were talking about it before, the willing passer that Karl Anthony Towns is, and the chemistry that you start to build where it's not just the point guard looking for the big man and setting him up like we saw in Miami. It was Karl Anthony Towns saying, okay, I can also get you open too, Jalen Brunson. But Towns is not just a three-point shooter. He's not just one of these bigs that lives on the perimeter. Look at that pass, by the way. Over the head, finding the cutter, and then the finish in the end one. But for Towns, I like this. He goes to the basket. He attacks. I was hearing people talk about how Towns is not a tough player, that he doesn't go in the paint enough. He doesn't do things in the paint. Wally, I don't know about you, but these last couple of games, what I've seen from Karl Anthony Towns is a guy that's 7 feet and uses all of it and the strength to do what he has to do in the painted area.
Yeah, and he's going up against a strong dude there in Isaiah Stewart, but he has the size advantage over him. He's just an overall, no weakness basketball player. He's super skilled. The passing is outstanding, has a great feel for the game, and not a lot of 7-footers do. Obviously, Jokic has an unbelievable feel for the game, but, Towns has that type of feel where he'll do whatever the defense allows him to do. He'll read and react to how his defender's guarding him. He can go to the basket, he can post up, he can knock down the three, he can pass if he needs to pass. He's a really talented overall basketball player, and he's showing it. And he's right in the middle of his prime, too, which is nice to have him on the Knicks roster right in the middle of his prime.
He's like a guard in a 7-foot body.
Yeah.
I mean, he just does everything.